Hello, my friend, and welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and I am Heather, and I am super excited that you are here. And I just want to let you know that you're going to hear some tips and some tricks, some ideas, all to help you live your happiest and healthiest life. It is called Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, then you can take better care of others. And my goal is to make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way. I am really happy that you're here. Your true self is waiting. So it is time to step up and thrive. Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of the Back to Me podcast. And as always, we're going to have a really awesome conversation with someone who knows some stuff. Right, Jenny?
I know a few things.
So we have Jenny Harkelroad. Yes, that's actually not so hard to say. And you founded Balanced You, which I definitely want to hear about because so many people talk so regularly about balanced life, balanced work, balance. And so it'll be awesome to jump into that conversation. But before we do that, because I know you used to do something else, real estate. Well, you were a big real estate person. And so it's always a fascinating conversation when people are now in this space of wellness. What happened? Really, what are you doing here? How'd you get here? What's the deal?
Yes, absolutely. I remember the day that I stepped down from real estate. I made an announcement to all my real estate friends, and someone came up to me after and pulled me aside. She's like, you're going to regret what you just said. Like,
Really?
You're a big name here in San Diego. You've built for 13 years this huge thing, and you're walking away. Not a smart move. And I wasn't too fazed by what she said because I knew I was on the right path. But
it's funny though, isn't it, that people, from their perspective, you've lost your mind.
Right. Yes. And she wasn't the only one who told me, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had the same reaction when I left corporate.
Yeah.
One of my friends actually thought that I was insane and was going to have me committed.
Wow.
Yes.
An intervention.
Yeah, exactly. So you stepped down from this giant success to do something entirely different. And people thought you were crazy. So, but what was it that made you change your mind?
It wasn't just a little thought or idea. It was something really big. And I'll back up the story a little. It was August 10th of 2013. I'm standing on this mountain ledge with my husband. We'd been camping with friends and family and hiking, and we kind of got separated from this group, and we're standing there, and he looks down, and it's not that far. And he's like, if I was young and in shape, I'd jump down instead of climbing down. And I looked down, I thought, I'm young and in shape, and I jump. It was like that fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And when I landed, I heard a crunch in my back and I couldn't move.
Oh my God. How far was it that you jumped?
Again, not that far, maybe like 10 feet from boulder down to the next boulder. But the problem was there was no give. I was just landing on my feet on a rock. And so the give went to my spine.
Right.
And he tried to get me up. Friends tried to get me up. Nobody could. They ended up calling 911 here in America, emergency. They sent in a ground crew. They hiked in. It took them like 45 minutes to get to me. And when they got to me, they said, no, we can't get you. They called Life Flight and sent in a helicopter to get me. Wow. So I get put on this board, taped down, zip lined up to a hovering helicopter, pumped with morphine. Thank goodness for that stuff, because by that time I was, in kind of shock and crying and all the things. And when I woke up in the hospital, they said, you broke your back.
What? Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
I literally said this. I said, does that mean I can't go to Ashtanga yoga tonight? I don't, wait, what? I don't understand. What does this mean? I was, so to paint the picture, 4 kids, huge real estate company, running the women's organization of my church, fundraising in my community, I was doing it all. And so they said, thankfully you're not paralyzed, but you're definitely broken and you need to stay in bed for like 6 weeks.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
like, 6 weeks? Like, I can't hold still for 6 minutes. Like, what? But I mean,
You're in your own version of hell now.
right, right. But I could feel that I couldn't move. I mean, it wasn't like I felt great, obviously.
Right.
And so, to back up before that, here's what would happen. I'd be sitting in real estate meetings and I'd be daydreaming. What if I could do something that I loved, that I was like passionate about, that I was excited about, not just something successful that made a bunch of money.
Right.
Like, what if I like wanted to do it and I woke up excited about it? Like, what if there was something like that? And then my brain would just say, like, shut up. Like, look at your checkbook. Look at all your houses. Look at all your things. Like, quit complaining. You're fine. Like, stop daydreaming. That's ridiculous.
And
You have
people
no
outside of that
degree.
would say the same thing to you, right? Like it probably
Yeah.
wasn't even your voice, it was theirs. Like,
Right.
stop
Right.
complaining. You got everything. So
Yeah.
just
And actually, some of it was my voice because I was wrapped up in the success of it. My
mm,
self-esteem and my self-worth were wrapped up in it. So it's like, what would people think if I walked away? Maybe they would think it wasn't actually successful and I had to do something else. It was like, what would everybody else think?
right.
And so for years and years and years, I had this like internal thing going on. The other thing is, I actually suffered with chronic pain for most of my life before
Mhm.
breaking my back. I was put on prescription pain pills when I was 12 years old. In my 20s, I went into liver failure I was taking like 30 ibuprofen a day.
Oh
Apparently, you're
my
not supposed to
God.
do that. Yeah.
No, that's like an
Yeah.
OD right there.
Right. So I was always in pain, but I didn't know how to fix it because nobody could find anything wrong with me. And so I would just suppress the pain, pop the pills, and go make money
Right.
and go help people and take care of my kids and do all the things and put a smile on my face and say my affirmations in the mirror because I didn't know what else to do. So
Right.
that was the picture of what was underneath everything. So now I'm stuck in bed with thinking time. And this is dangerous because I don't want to think about all this because I can't find a solution. I've been trying to fix things in my life. I wasn't getting along with my husband, which was obviously super painful. And it was just like, I don't know what to do. And now I have a broken back and I have to lay here. Now what? So
You got a
something
gift.
I got a gift. Yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
A painful gift.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Yes, I did. And I wish I could tell you that I laid there for 6 weeks, but I actually was stuck for almost 3 years. Yeah,
Really, because you
because
took
I
that long
wouldn't
to
learn my
heal?
lesson.
Mm,
I was going to go back to the same old stuff, right? That's what I was going to do. Hurry and get better so you can go back to the life you're not enjoying. Yeah. So
yeah,
the
the
pain,
universe, I was listening to something actually just yesterday. It was saying, the universe keeps giving you the same lesson until you learn it.
right?
And it keeps getting worse each time. So I joke with people, and I mean, the listeners know this. I had a stroke in 2021, and I had that same conversation with the doctors. Like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do with this? But
Right.
luckily, I only spent 3 days in the hospital
Perfect.
before they let me go home. Although I wasn't supposed to do anything,
Yeah.
but I said that I got blessed with a 3-day silent retreat.
Okay.
You got blessed with the 3 years wasn't a
Yeah.
silent retreat though. So 3 years, that's because you kept going back to it and relapsing, or what was happening?
No, the pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I didn't know why. I mean, I was literally seeing a specialist every day, Eastern medicine, Western medicine, like doing everything I had heard, thought of, people told me. I was doing all the things, and the pain just kept getting worse. So my mobility was coming back, but my pain was getting worse and worse and worse. I couldn't sit in a chair. I couldn't drive my car. I was just like, it felt like my back was on fire and I
Right.
didn't know how to extinguish the fire. So after 2 years, I convinced surgeons there must be something structurally wrong, right? Like every day I'm seeing someone about this. There has to be something. So they went in, they put in rods and screws and a synthetic disc in my back, and it didn't help.
Oh, I was going to say, oh my God. So
Yeah.
I used to be, well, I still teach yoga, but
Okay.
after 20 years, but I was also a registered massage therapist, which is almost, it's 2 years of school here. So when I saw clients who had rods in their back, all I could think is, I don't know that this made it better, you know?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And the first thing every time I get a massage now, I tell the massage therapist is don't rub the screws, please. It
Yeah,
doesn't go good.
exactly. Yeah, that's not going to feel so good. Oh my
No.
goodness.
Yeah. So it didn't help. So then it was like, well, now what? And it was like, sorry, like there's nothing more we can do. We're just going to keep giving you pain pills and we don't know. And I
So
thought, you know
then
what?
what happened to flip the switch?
Yeah.
Like, I
Well,
would have thought just falling off the cliff would have done it, but you're
oh
stubborn, I
no, it
see.
took a little more than that. Yeah, yeah. I needed another brick to the head. So, what happened was I just kept asking people, and I was referred to someone who referred, and on down the line till I got to this medical doctor who told me, you can heal yourself with your mind. And
A
I said,
medical doctor told you this. That's unusual.
medical doctor. I said, what are you talking about? And what kind of medical doctor are you? What? Heal myself with my mind? This is my back. I mean, here's my medical files, like MRIs, all the things. And he said, yeah, we can do this. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. And I go, I don't talk about my childhood. And he said, okay, tell me about your marriage. And I go, I don't talk about my marriage. And he's like, well, if you want me to help you, we're going to have to talk about some things. And I said, do you have any Kleenex? Because I've been suppressing things for 40 years now, and a flood might come. And a flood did come. And what this doctor helped me realize was that my body was a barometer for my mind, and that I had a lot of stress and tension in my mind throughout my life, and it was coming out in my body. So there was never actually anything wrong with my body all this time. It was like all these pills I was popping was trying to suppress my past and my, the tension in my body coming from my mind. I didn't believe him, but hey, I was desperate, so whatever, I'll tell you my stuff. I felt worse. He asked if I want to come back. I said no, but sure. 6 sessions with him later, I'm healed. Like nothing ever happened to me. And I'm shocked and thankful and grateful and blown away. And what? How am I better? I mean, not just I could sit in a chair, like I could do handstands and back bends, like
Right,
healed.
right.
And I went back to him and I said, I'm so thankful. And can you help me stop taking pain pills? Can you help me like my husband? Can you help me get rid of my allergies? Can you help me lose weight? Can you help me find a career I love? I mean, as my dear
So
Santa
this isn't a
list.
psychotherapist, right? He's and
Medical doctor, MD.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, of course, Jenny, you can do anything with your mind. And so we did. We changed everything about my life from the inside out. If you look at my life, besides my career, everything looks the same. I'm married to the same guy, thank goodness. And, things look the same, but it feels different from the inside out. I have a new perspective and a new perception and a barometer that's not going crazy, causing pain in my body.
Right. And it's so interesting. We understand that our minds can talk us in and out of things, and everything is perspective, and what you think is what you're going to see, but we don't translate
Yeah.
that into the physical world of our bodies. We try to find something outside of it.
Yes.
So I find it fascinating that he's a medical doctor and
Yes.
he's doing this,
And it didn't
and
start
why
that.
he's not famous.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? He's so sweet. His name's Dr. Warren Jacobs. He's 95 now,
Holy
still
moly.
seeing patients. I've never seen him take a note before. He remembers everything every person says. And what happened is he was a regular medical doctor for a lot of years. And then he went to a conference and got stuck in the woo-woo room somehow and learned some weird techniques. And one day when he had a patient with a frozen shoulder who he tried everything medical doctor wise to help and couldn't, he's like, "Can I do some weird thing with you that I learned at a conference? It's some kind of energy healing thing or something." And he did it and it worked. And he was shocked and his patient was shocked. And then he became obsessed with like, okay, there's more to it. And I want to learn a bunch of different tools. And then he started to realize that so many people, the pain in their body was just caused from tension in their mind. And if he could make that connection, see, that's the important part, because I knew I had pain in my mind, but I didn't realize it was causing the pain in my body. Right? Like I would see a psychologist and he would say, "Have a seat." And I'd say, "I can't sit because of my pain." And he'd go, "You know, you need to go fix your pain and then come back and we can deal with your problems." Right? He
Which
didn't
is
know
so
and I
right.
didn't know they're connected. And so making that connection, a lot of times something bad will happen in your life and then you'll get sick. It's connected. It's not happenstance, you know? It's
Right. So now
fascinating.
you've created, so you healed your body. You are, and people will go, "That's freaking magic." But
Right.
it's only magic. I mean, airplanes used to be magic, right? Now
Yeah.
it's just like, what do you mean there's no Wi-Fi on the airplane? So,
Right. Come on now. What century
so
is this anyhow?
yeah. So and this tool I think is so important for people to access and use for themselves. And, Western medicine is super important because, when I broke my wrist, gosh golly, I wanted someone to put that bone right because
Absolutely.
because I wanted to be able to use my hand again.
Yeah.
And but I think that, I don't know, well, we could go down that rabbit hole some other day, but why they don't use this magic of our minds more often. But
Yeah.
when you had this realization and you said, "Oh, I don't have to be a real estate agent," then you dove into that world. I
Yeah.
think I'm
Yeah,
jumping.
pretty much. I mean, it was interesting because what Dr. Warren taught me and I started to realize was that I needed to pay attention to my body. And I would start to walk toward my real estate desk and the flame on my back before he helped me make it go away would get hotter, 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 hotter the closer I got to my desk. And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh." I think what he's telling me is true. Like, I think really forcing myself to do something that I'm no longer enjoying is causing pain in my body. Like, I can feel it. Like that game Hot Cold. Have you ever played it? Like you're
Yeah.
getting closer, hot, 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 hot. There you yeah, you're there,
Yeah.
right?
You're on fire.
Right? Like I would almost drop to my knees before I could get to my desk. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I told him, I'm like, "I think I have to do something else." And he's like, "Perfect." I'm like, "Not perfect." Like, what do I do? And like, how do I keep up this income? And he's like, "You don't just sell everything." I'm like, "What?" Sell everything? What are you talking about? And he's like, "Do you want to be out of pain or not?" I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, Dr. Warren, right? What do you want to do? I have no idea. I really didn't. I mean, I didn't go to college, well, a year. I'm mom of 4 little kids. This was back before you could work from home as much as you can now. So,
Right.
like, what am I going to do? I have no idea. And so I sold my house. I sold my real estate company. I started studying with him, and he uses muscle testing. And so
Okay.
we did a lot of muscle testing to figure out like what I should do, what I wanted to do. I thought maybe I wanted to teach on nutrition because while I was stuck in bed, I wrote a book on nutrition. I'm a big fan of a whole food plant-based diet. And I thought maybe I wanted to teach people about that. And we muscle tested. No, it wasn't that. And I really couldn't find anything. And I kind of gave up, like, I don't know, Dr. Warren. And he goes, "Well, maybe you want to do what I do." I'm like, "I don't think so." And we muscle tested it. And if you're listening, you don't know what a muscle test is. It's like a biofeedback system from your body. Your body can say what's true and what's not to your subconscious with a muscle test. Typically, people do it when you just hold your arm out parallel to the floor and someone presses down on your arm.
I
And
love
I was
muscle
actually
testing.
Yeah, I was familiar with it because my dad's a chiropractor, and a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
chiropractors use muscle testing to figure out where their patients are out of alignment or what supplements they need. And so Dr. Warren said, maybe you want to do what I do. And I said, okay, let's check it. And we muscle tested. It tested really strong. And I thought, that's interesting. I guess I wouldn't have thought of that. I don't know why. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? You help me heal from something I couldn't get over, and why wouldn't I want to help people the same? So yeah, I studied with him. I studied a lot of different modalities of subconscious change and transformation. And then eventually I created my own work because I wanted to be free to share it and explain it and demonstrate it and do all the things with it. And it's just been so fun helping thousands now of people heal from chronic pain. And it's not only that, your brain is like this master control center for your life. And so whatever's not working, you just don't have a subconscious program supporting you. And I created these brain exercises that build new subconscious programs, which is what the balance is in my company name, Balance too, is balancing both hemispheres of your brain. So you're not stuck in the old way of being. You're a new you, a new I want to say better you, but like you're back to who you actually were before you grabbed onto all these limiting beliefs thinking you weren't who you are and as good as who you already are, if that makes sense.
It's like your shiny computer, you're this shiny, fancy, because I have a new computer, this super
Nice.
amazing computer when you're
Yeah.
born that has nothing in it, and then you downloaded a whole bunch of viruses and you think that they
Right,
belong there.
right. And you
And
can't
they're
figure out why
messing
it's
you.
so slow and what's wrong with this
Why it
computer?
crashes every time you try to do this one particular thing.
Right, exactly. So your mind, it either supports you or sabotages you every second of the day. And so I love to help people say, like, what's not working? How would you rather have it? Let's do a brain exercise to get your brain back online to support you on that. And then let's take action and move you forward in that
That's
direction.
so super cool.
Yeah,
Like, so, and it's so like, and people want things to be hard. It's not, it doesn't have to be hard, it's,
correct.
and I enjoyed the fact that you had the courage to sell everything,
Uh,
but maybe you're just like, so didn't want any more pain. You had reached the limit of
right,
pain in your
right.
life. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, this is what it's like to feel good. I don't want to feel bad anymore. And
right.
it's interesting because I heard something recently. I think it was Ram Dass who was saying the only thing a human being needs in life is food, shelter, and companionship. All the extra, everything else, depending on how much everything else there is, it just adds complication and stress.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing. Yes,
you
although
know,
my kids were like, "Mom, you should keep doing real estate. It's really not that bad. I mean, we love Disney cruises, Mom." I'm like, "Sorry,
yeah.
kid. You've just
Okay,
been on your
kids.
last Disney cruise for a while."
Well, grow up and figure out your own life and take your own cruise.
Yeah, yeah. And
Right?
now they are. They're all
Right?
launched and doing fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so Balanced You is your company, and I know that you have created something to make it even easier. So I was going from
Yes.
the simplicity point of view. So
Yeah.
to make life super easy for people because they think it should be hard, but they also want it to be
Yes.
easy, which is
Right.
why they use their excuses of not changing.
Yeah.
You have an app, which I think is so
Mhm.
cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
My
so
app, yeah, it's called Leap Transformation, Leap Like a Frog. It's in the App Store and the Play Store. And it's as close as you can get to having a session with me without actually having a session with me. Yes, I am for hire. Yes, you can have a session with me, but it's a lot cheaper in the app. So try that first.
and is
So,
it Google and is it Android and
yes,
Apple?
yes.
Yeah,
I know.
because
App
come
Store
on.
and Play Store. Absolutely. You'll see a video of me sitting right here at this desk, same exact background, and I take you through the brain exercises you need based on what you type into the app that you're trying to change in your life. Yeah,
Cool.
super simple. So
Oh
what do
my
you want
gosh.
different? Let's rewire the brain and now go get it. And here's what happens. So we ran a beta test with about 500 client reports coming back saying they were 41% better with one use within 1 week.
Wow.
So if you want more than that, use it twice. Use it three
Right.
times. Use it every day. your brain will start to support you instead of sabotage you. Just like if you want to get in shape, you got to go to the gym, not just once, not just twice. You got to keep going. And once you're finally in the perfect shape, you're not done.
You gotta
You
keep
got to
going.
keep going. Your brain is the same way. So, spend 15 minutes a day in the app. Like set it as part of your morning routine. What is your intention for the day? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to grow? What is it you want different in your life? Work on that and then go make it happen.
Right. My husband and I always joke because we work out together. It's like we're working out to get in shape for our workout.
Right. Right.
But we can tell when we haven't worked out for even 3 or 4 days, you can feel the difference
It's
when you get
crazy
used to
how fast. Yeah.
feeling a certain way and you
Yeah.
start to feel not so good. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was helping, so I'm gonna keep doing that."
Yeah.
And I know that because you mentioned it, something about there's companies can use this. So I don't know about
Yeah.
Canadian companies, but for our US friends who are listening,
Yeah,
what's that?
absolutely. So, yes, Canadian companies can use my app. Absolutely. Anyone in the world can use my app. But I do have a special program, which is in the US, which is tied to the US tax code, which is where companies can get a tax credit for using my wellness program tied into a medical and wellness benefit plan. And so, if you're in the US and you want more wellness benefits for your staff and you want to actually save money by getting more benefits for your staff, just reach out to me and I can explain how that works.
And because I used to work in a health management company when I was an accountant, back when I was a CPA before I left corporate, and
Yes.
that company's entire job was to get their it was to keep employees healthy so that they could be more
Perfect.
productive and,
Yeah,
not off just sitting at home trying to get better by themselves. So they were actively managed.
yeah,
So happy, healthy employees make happy, healthy companies.
absolutely. And don't you want your people to just be feeling great, not just like putting on a happy face, pretending they're fine?
Yeah.
When people are struggling, like you said, they're not productive, they're not thinking outside of the box, they're just surviving.
And
And
think about
so,
all the coffee shops you've been to that had happy baristas and crabby baristas. Which one did you want to go to?
right, exactly. Yeah. Who do you want to answer the phone when they call your company and
Right?
all of those things? And even, yes, we want the company to thrive and be successful. Absolutely. And we want people to thrive. We really want people to enjoy life and to be feeling good from the inside out automatically.
Right. Well, that's my whole purpose in life, right? Is to help people find what makes them the healthiest and happiest because I know that impacts everything.
Absolutely.
And the
Like a
ripples will
ripple.
eventually turn into a
Yep.
tidal wave of
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
That's how we're going to do it.
Yes, it will.
And I love that yours is like, I can do it on an app.
Right.
I,
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
apps. I love apps.
Me too. Me too.
Um, oh my gosh, that is an amazing story and so interesting. And I'm very happy that you did find Dr. Warren, even though
Me
it took
too.
you a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you
When
talk
the
to him, thank
student
him
is
for
ready.
me.
Okay.
And if you were going to sum up your thoughts, like a final word of wisdom, like what is the one key thing you would say to anybody who's listening?
Yeah. I would say that if your body is hurting, there's something going on in your mind. So if your knee's hurting, instead of thinking, what's wrong with my knee, think, what's going on in my life that I'm not happy with, that I'm worried about, that I'm stressed about, that I'm uncomfortable with. And if you can be open minded enough to believe that that tension in your mind is causing that pain in your knee, what can happen is it can just immediately stop hurting because it was doing it to distract you. And now this gig is up. You know how your body plays this game.
Right.
And so tune in to what's going on in your mind. And then what are you going to do about it? That's the other thing, right? You can't just keep it there stewing. You have to think of it in a new way, a new perception, a new perspective. So how would you rather feel about that thing that's bothering you? Can you let it go? Can you forgive? Can you, what can you do to not worry about that thing? Because, worrying about it doesn't do us any good. Stressing about it doesn't do us any good. Being afraid, being mad, angry doesn't do us any good. Can you let it go? And if you can, you might be amazed that knee just weirdest thing stops hurting. So
Right.
your body and your mind, they're connected. And I'm not a doctor, and so I'm not saying don't see a doctor. Of course you can see a doctor, but I learned what I do from a doctor, from multiple doctors who have discovered that most of what's going on in people's bodies are coming from their mind. And so look at that mind, see what's going on, and take a deep breath and let it go if you can. And if you can't, use my app to let it go.
Right. And I always like to throw in, don't be scared about looking at the inside of your head because it is where you live, and you won't see the dust unless you look in the corners.
Right. That's a good one. I love it.
And you are at balancedu.org.
Yes, I am. Balanced.org.
And I am going to put links for everything in the show notes, friends. So don't worry about it. The Leap Transformation app, I'm going to put it all there. And yes, as soon as we hang up, I'm going to check that out.
Cool.
Because people know that I'm like, yeah, let me do that.
Perfect. I love it.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for joining me. And thank you for staying with it long enough to find the answers that you were looking for.
You had to.
Because sometimes you just got to stay on the road until you figure it out, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Friends in podcast land, who do you know who always complains about their aches and pains? You know that person. I know several people. This is headed their way. Share this with them because we want happy, healthy people.
Okay.
Thank you, my friends. Kisses for you. We'll see you next time. Hello, my friend. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you found it useful and you're like me and you want to help others, please share this, comment, like, subscribe, all of those things that will help this podcast to be found by more people. And if you found it useful, there's a chance that someone else will find it useful as well. If you ever have any questions, I am here to answer your questions. I would love to help you. My direct email address is info@heatherstewart.coach. You can also find me at heatherstewart.coach. And if you go over to my website, you will find copies of the podcast. You'll find the link to my Instagram and my Facebook. And I do have a personal request because I do want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. So if you could give me a review, and my friend, I would love if you gave me a good one. If you could share this, if you could send it out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope that you have an amazing day. I hope that you are finding your way back to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend. Be well, and we will see you again next time.